Today's Earth Day STEM project is Invisible Plant Ink. You will need one dandelion and one piece of paper. But wait, what's a dandelion? A dandelion looks like two different things. It might look like a pretty yellow flower, but it also might look like a white fluffy ball. Both of these are dandelions. The yellow flower is a younger dandelion, and the white fluffy dandelion is a little bit older. Now, your parents might call these weeds, and they're not always wanted in our gardens, but they don't actually hurt our plants. We know that a dandelion is a plant, and we know that they can look like two different things. So if you only see one type in your yard, you might just wait a little while and you might see the other kind too. We know that we can also take these plants on the right and blow on those white pieces, and they are seeds that flow all over the yard and help plant more yellow dandelion flowers. Now today, we actually don't need the flowers of our dandelions. We need the sap. But what is sap? Sap is a fluid that moves in the cells of plants, transporting water and nutrients throughout the plant. Now, I know that's a lot of big words, but what it means is that sap is basically the blood of a plant. When we cut a tree down, we don't see a whole bunch of red blood come out, but we might see some sticky sap. This sap carries the nutrients from the soil in the roots all the way up to the top of the plant. That's how the plant stays healthy. It also takes the water from the roots and moves it throughout the plant. Today, we're going to cut the bottom of our dandelion and we're going to see some sap come out that looks a little bit like this. Now, tree sap is different. Tree sap is sticky, and sometimes we use it to make maple syrup. So you actually eat sap every time you have pancakes or waffles. Isn't that cool? But today's sap we're not going to eat. We're going to use to be spies. So what's next? You want to be a spy? I know you do. First, you've got to find a dandelion in your yard and cut the stem close to the ground using scissors. Now, I know that we've all learned about plants this year, so we should know what the stem is. But in case we need a reminder, the stem is that long green part of our plant that reaches into the bottom and holds onto our roots and our flower up at the top. You're going to use scissors so that you get a nice clean cut. If there's not a dandelion in your yard, maybe you can tell your parents to go to a local park, or maybe your neighbor has one in their yard. Next, you're going to use that sap coming out of the stem down at the bottom, and you're going to write on a piece of paper. I would start with a white piece of paper, but I will give you a challenge at the end to test some different ones. You're going to need to wait for your dandelion ink to dry before your message will be revealed. Now, if your dandelion stem gets a little dry because you're writing so much, then just trim a little piece off of the stem and it should work just fine. Now, don't press your stem down too hard, otherwise your stem will break. You've got to be really gentle and use only the sap coming out of the flower. So you can see in this picture to the left, the little child is drawing with their dandelion just like you're going to. Now, if you're up for the challenge, I have 2 extra challenges for you if you like this activity. The first one is to try writing on different types of paper to see if the results change. Maybe you try a white piece of paper, a piece of cardboard, a colored piece of paper, or even a piece of notebook paper. Your results might be different. You can also look at the sap of other plants to see if it writes in invisible ink too. Now, you have to be careful with this because there are some plants that are dangerous. So make sure you ask your parents before you use any of the sap from different types of plants.